And just want to take a look at a longer example of doing binary subtraction. So I'm going to make one up here. I'm going to put 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. This is in base 2. I'm going to then subtract from it, for example, and be really careful when you align the numbers. So 1, 1, and 1 in base 2. Put a line like that. So first of all, notice that 1s cannot be subtracted from 0. That means we're going to have to borrow. Let's go over some basic rules that you really should know. So first of all, 1 base 2 minus 1 base 2 equals 0 base 2. That makes sense. That's like writing 1 minus 1. That's 0. That's it. Now, if you have 1 base 2 minus 0 base 2, that equals 1 base 2. That still makes sense. Think about it. That's like saying 1 minus 0. That's 1, whether it's base 2 or 10. When you have this rule, 1, 0, base 2 minus 1, that gives 1 base 2. And the reason for that is the following. This value right there, that's equivalent to 2 in base 10. That number, 1 base 2, is equivalent to 1 in base 10. So then, naturally enough, 2 minus 1 is just 1 in base 10. In other words, whether you write 1 base 2 or 1 base 10, it's still 1. So when you see something like 1, 0 base 2 minus 1 base 2, it gives 1 base 2. Not, for example, 9 or something like that, okay? Remember, these are all binary numbers. Once you have those in place, there's one last rule. Take a look. 0 minus 1, again in base 2. When you see something like this, that tells you the following. You got to do this. You got to carry. So now let's go through that process of actually doing one of these. Let me just grab a different color. So here, look carefully. See that 1? I'm going to strike that. I'm going to put a 0 in here. When you say you're borrowing, when you say you're borrowing 1 and moving into this column, what you're really doing is just subtracting 1. So what I just did is this in my mind. When I did the striking off, it's like saying 1 minus 1 in binary. That gives a 0. That's why there's a 0 up there. Then I put a 1 over here that I borrow. Now, that is okay by itself, except where you see the 0, that can't be done. You can't have 0 minus 1. You can't have 0 minus 1. So for that reason, you're going to have to strike these two off and put a 1 up here. What did I just do? Think about this for a second. What I really did is this. Look on the side all the way. Let me just put that somewhere. So here, for example, 1, 0, like that. When we did over here back, where it says 1, 0 in a column. And when I subtract 1, that's like borrowing the 1. That leaves a 1. So when you see this right here, 1, 0, it's as if you had 1, 0 on a horizontal line. And when you borrow 1 from it, it's as if you did this step right here. Take a look. It's this. It's just written in a different format. But the logic is that, okay? Like that. So when you do 1, 0, you strike that off. And you write that little 1 up there above it. That's because you're doing this in your head, roughly speaking. So then you put the 1 you borrow over here. Now think about that for a second. You still can't do that. That's not enough because that 0 next to it still can't do the subtraction. So you got to now scratch off again. It's as if you did 1, 0 in binary minus 1, 0. I'm sorry, minus 1 in binary. That's going to give you a 1 up there. And now you move over here. Now you can actually do the subtractions. Look, 1 minus 1 is 0 in binary. Put a 2 for there. Now you have 1, 0 minus 1 in binary. That leaves a 1, not 9 or something like that. Then you have 1 up there minus the 1 down below. That's 0. Then you have the 1 up there. You just carry that straight down. And then you have a 0 up there, so you carry that straight down. And as this number right here, often that leading 0 is not written. In other words, you can just write the number as 1, 0, and then 1, 0 in base 2, as follows. And that is the answer for the reasons I've described to you, I think, in considerable detail. And that's it. Thanks so much. I'll see you in another video.